realignment. It has been an epic realignment day. I've covered college athletics or been a fan of college athletics for forever, and there have been some epic realignment days. There was a day where the Pac-12 nearly took half of the Big 12, including Texas and Oklahoma, a decade plus ago. There have been crazy days, Big 10, expansion, and so on and so forth. Today is right up there. So at this hour, Jim, there are at least 3 or 4 college football insiders reporting Utah State to the Pac-12 is a done deal. We talked about this within the hour. Mm-hmm. And you say, well, hold on. They were interested in Memphis and Tulane and had some other things like Gonzaga. Okay, but what else? And I said, well, just wait on this. We heard earlier UNLV was going to recommit to the Mountain West if all 8 of the Mountain West schools were going to commit. But Utah State isn't committing. So the 8 Mountain West is down to 7, which is really 6 because of Hawaii. They don't even play all their sports in the Mountain West. They only play football. So Pete Thamel at ESPN has said that in the wake of Utah State's commitment, UNLV is going to huddle tonight to determine their next steps. And then, but wait, there's more. Ross Dellinger reporting, he broke the story about San Diego State to the Pac-12. Mm-hmm. He's reporting that the Pac-12 continues to have conversations with Gonzaga for basketball and Yukon for football. So Gonzaga for basketball, Yukon. You say, well, Yukon's in the East. How could you do that? Well, you only play 4 road games.
Could you also theoretically set up like a scheduling with the basketball team for like for parts of your conference?
Yes, because what you can do in the deal is say, here's the deal. We're going to give you X dollars, and you're going to be a football member, but let's guarantee to, and I'm making this up, but this is at least a possibility. You could say, let's guarantee to 2 games a year against Pac-12 basketball teams.
I know if you get Gonzaga, then you got Gonzaga and San Diego State there.
Yeah, and you say, you know what? You got to play 2 teams a year, and this year you're playing Gonzaga and Utah State. Next year you're playing San Diego State and Oregon State. I'm making it up. Yeah. One of them at home, one of them on the road, one of them neutral, one of them at home. Mm-hmm. That's I would think a possibility.
So if I've seen like Mark Ziegler put out a piece. I haven't read it yet about like Utah State. What? But like, tell me if this makes sense. Okay, because you're way better at this than I am. It feels like with the reports now of UNLV huddling tonight, right? By the new Pac-12 taking Utah State, you have made now the Mountain West Conference down to 7 schools. Mm-hmm. Not enough. They need one more. So now that feels like a chess move to like, okay, if we're not going to get UNLV or we're not going to be able to get the Memphis and the Tulanes of the world, we're just going to ruin the Mountain West. And we're going to take a school that we know is going to come. It might not be the sexiest. Definitely isn't the sexiest, right? Basketball. I mean, no, basketball has done really well of late.
Been in the tournament a ton since we've been carrying Aztec games, right?
But we're going to do this chess move because this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and then we can go and swoop in UNLV.
I think you could be spot on. Because what the Mountain West was promising these schools that stayed, not the San Diego States, right? Mm. But what they were telling Air Force and UNLV, what we've heard, San Jose State, right, whatever, New Mexico, was, hey, stay together. We'll use the exit fee money from San Diego State, Boise State, et cetera. Yeah. And we can build back, or we'll just give you one-time lump sums. You might be worried about your future revenues with television. Here's $10 million. Here's $12 million. This is going to make you whole, so to speak. But now that Utah State is out, like, what are you committing to?
Because you don't have 8 schools.
And where is their 8th school going to be? Where's their 9th school going to be? And so on and so forth.
It's a game of chess right now.
So now maybe UNLV is the school that holds the cards. I mean, is it a leverage play? Can UNLV get more from the Mountain West? Can UNLV get more from the Pac-12?
This is definitely not plan A, maybe not even plan B, but
it's becoming a pretty interesting plan, truthfully.
It is interesting. And if things shape out with the new Pac-12, their football having, let's just say, Oregon State, Washington State, Fresno, Boise, San Diego, Colorado State, Utah State. I'm just going to go UNLV, and I'm going to go Yukon. That's 9.
And that gives you 8 conference games.
Yes. And then you add Gonzaga as a basketball school and add Grand Canyon as a basketball school as well.
Boom.
You have 12.
No, you didn't do the math right.
No, you have 11. Sorry,
11, but it's only 10 for basketball because
right.
UConn would play in the Big East.
And UConn's a football, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have 10 for basketball, perfect. That's 9 times 2 for conference games, 18, perfect.
Yep.
And you have 9 for football, perfect. You have 8 conference games, 4 at home, 4 on the road. And if you're UConn, you say, how could UConn join the Pac-12? It's 4 road games. It's not the end of the world.
No.
San Diego State's at Central Michigan this weekend.
Right.
Cal and Stanford were in, where were they? Syracuse and Tallahassee.
Right.
This weekend. It's the modern world of college athletics.
Yeah, UCLA and Stanford and Cal have to travel across the country every
SC was at Michigan this weekend.
Right. So that's just the new life of college athletics, and it's not pretty. It's not. If UConn is just football only, that's not the end of the world, because you're not being like, oh, our volleyball team has to travel across the country on a Tuesday night.
No,
like
they
would
would stay in the Big East
and the ACC.
By the way, UConn football, I'll tell you why it makes a ton of sense. And now they haven't been very good. They're independent.
Right.
Do you want to stay out there in the wilderness as an independent, or do you want to join a collection of teams that if you win the league, you have access to the college football playoff by winning that league? For me, if you're UConn, that's a no-brainer. I'd rather be in the Pac-12 than be an independent out east. So
there we go. We fixed it.
Wild day.
We've created the new Pac-12.
Perfect league.
Not the perfect league. It's not plan A, but it's something that gets done. And if you added UNLV, you got Utah State, you add UConn in football, it's not the sexiest. It's not what plans, dude, really wanted.
They had Oregon State and Washington State were left for nothing.
And I think what really this conference hinges on is can they pull Gonzaga? They can pull Gonzaga. I think that alone, from a basketball standpoint, and just being in the conference, I know they don't have football, but just from a basketball standpoint, that alone lifts it up more than I think a Memphis or a Tulane would, or a UTSA. Like, Gonzaga is the real deal in the basketball part of this equation, and you pair them with San Diego State in a conference. Oof, that's like the best conference on the West Coast basketball wise.
100%.
Not even close.
Not even close. And by the way, if they get UNLV as well, you've put together a darn good basketball league. Utah State is in a ton. Colorado State's been in a ton. Boise State, each of the last 3 years. They put together a very good basketball league. I know this. I will not go to sleep tonight until there's resolution.
Well, luckily there's no wrap-up show and no Padres game, so you can just do nothing but conference.
I can just stare at my phone.
Yes.
Perfect.
Awesome.
John has the IV of Celsius all ready to go.
Dude, that's a good point. I might buy one on the way home, and I've already had one today. All right, coming up next, we're giving away tickets to the Miramar Air Show. We have Jim's back page ahead. We're getting you ready for a critical week for the Padres, the final week of the regular season. Stay with us.